Got it? All right.
Yep.
All right, so Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, gonna be 45-10. You got to the higher time frame. Work weeks, you're gonna see more complex movements, more combinations, time under tension, some more slower movements to really give yourself the focus in areas. So exercise one will be our jumping mountain climber, renegade row, curl and press. There should be lighter dumbbells on this one as well. So whatever you can press overhead, you should be utilizing for this movement. Use an elevated surface. You're not going onto the ground. So have like a plow box next to them so they can still like hop their feet in, get the roll from the box. Like tell them like give them the option to still feel like they're doing the movement, even though it's from an elevated surface. So have a plow box near this station for anyone that's not going down to the ground. Make it stand up, hit a bicep curl, and press. Kettlebell eccentric cycle squat. These you want to have your heels elevated on this one. You want to have your heels close together and elevated, kind of like the plie squat, right? So you want to come down slow and controlled. So on this one, give yourself a 4 count coming down. On the descend, you want to ascend just right back up. So coming down, so pop back up from the bottom. So 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1004, and then come up fast at the bottom. Time under tension, so you give yourself a lot of burn. And again, it's a good time to like really focus on stuff like that and more controlled. Challenge yourself for heavier weight and go with that 45-second time frame. So it's gonna be under tension, really focusing on dominating the quad, more quad work, quad focus on this one. And obviously you get the glute in the posterior with the eccentric squat. So if you do have something, poly beams or I don't know, something you can elevate your heels on within your facility, definitely recommend it for this movement. Yeah, Rocky, we got some boxing stuff in here. So Rocky abs again, heart on fire, hearts on fire. Although we got some T in there, Trav. To use that, right? Always good, like really trying to challenge people to like try to get your feet down first, right? Keep your butt off the ground as long as possible as you coming up and you come down, like your feet should try to land before your butt. And that's a challenge. It's pretty impressive too when people start seeing people doing that. So I'll go ahead and have some fun with it. If not, just obviously come save your back. If it's too much on your back, don't try it if it's not good for your back. But if you can, really challenge yourself to keep the core tight as you come down, leading with your heel, have the heel touch, then drop your butt down. If you're not doing that, hands on your lower back, and just work on leg raises. So avoid the whole bringing the hips off the ground and coming down and out of control if that is too much. And also, someone to be in a station, you can have a pile box next to it too. So if you're not going on the ground, they can lay back on the box and still focus on getting a leg raise, coming down in control with that. What was it? Oh. Yeah, you go. Get one C. And then... Okay. Yeah. Again, because if you want to use sandbags, you could do sandbags or have your sandbags for the Rocky abs as well. If you're not using the kettlebells. But yeah, I usually find that using the kettlebells, using a dumbbell rack, wherever your station's at, you can use something that's not going to lift off the ground, because then if you're going back and you're strong enough to bring it off the ground, then you're kind of mess that movement up. So want to use something heavy enough that you're not going to bring it up or pick it up when you're coming down out of the Rocky abs. Vert ball, alternating reverse lunge, single leg, double rotation. So you get some rotation in there. Single leg work. Yeah, it is definitely gonna be a what the focus, a WTF station. And again, this is not about speed. People want to go so fast and they're so worried about their mind zone, but honestly, they get a decent weight and they're really just focused on, with the vert ball going down. I guarantee you, even with this, by just slowing down, you're gonna get your heart rate up, because it's gonna take a lot more muscle fibers firing off, because you are trying to balance yourself out as you come back up. So it's not about speed. Control yourself as you go through it. Hit the reverse lunge, get that knee drive as you get that twist, and alternate legs. I recommend alternating legs. This is 45 seconds, so you don't have to worry about trying to switch them up halfway through on last set, best set. Just say every time you come back with that reverse lunge, alternate legs. Keep it simple so you're not having to worry about switching up on the last set, best set. row face pull, wide raise. You get some mobility work here, working the shoulders, getting the back. So get the row, go to the face pull, wide raise. You can pyramid these. So if you want to start off with 1 rep of each, go for 2, 3, 4, 5. Since 45 is a long time, you can add more reps as you go. And then feet placement, walking in closer. It's gonna be harder, more body weight. Walk your feet more upright. It's gonna be easier. This is also a good station too to take a small super band, put it right below the sternum, right, and give us some extra resistance there too. So if you want to make it more challenging, obviously give way less of a pull. You give a stronger pull on a row, but as they go to the face pull and the wire raise, really lighten the pull so they're not getting too much resistance on there so they can really focus on form. But on that row, you can make it a little tighter so they can really fight that row, right? And then as they get done with the row, lighten up on the band so they can go to the face pull with that wide raise. The round 2, going into, you have your hip bridge, alternating chest press. 10 seconds is a long time, a short time, so there's not a lot of transition period, but 45 luckily is a lot of time for a workload. But again, I would recommend trying to stay around this station in case people come back around and they have a hard time finding dumbbells. You can help them get set up with the dumbbells for station 1, right? So, you're going to hold them up, you're going to alternate as you hit that press, got the stabilization on the shoulder, constant contraction on the pecs as you hold the one up the whole time. Obviously, if holding up above the chest is too much, just have them drop it and they can still get like that seesaw motion as they alternate the press while they're on their back, hitting the hip bridge. If the hip bridge is too much, have them hit a dead bug, like pressing their lower back in the ground, keep their knees off their legs up like a dead bug, and they still alternate it. And again, keep that plyo box close for this one for anyone that does not go down the floor. They can lay back on the plyo box and still get that same movement done, just taking it away from the floor. So they're still doing the same exercises, but not going down to the floor to go to a higher surface, such as the plyo box. Eccentric narrow-based deadlift. Again, since you are working with dumbbells here, if you have heavier kettlebells, you can put the kettlebells near the station as well. Since we're not doing heavy kettlebell work here, put the heavy kettlebells, your 100s, your 90s, you got those 80s, put them over here by this station so they can use this while some heavy dumbbells as well. So you give them some options to play with heavier weight. Toes elevated, you're going to feel more of a stretch in the hammies. Keep your legs closer, coming down still. 1,000, 2,000, 3,004. Once you get closer to your toes, pop right back up. So you're still going to be time under tension. You're going to really feel that eccentric burn and getting the lengthening of the hammies as you go down with that deadlift. If they have issues with the straight leg or narrow base, just go to a regular deadlift. Still trying to do the time under tension. If the time under tension becomes too much on your lower back, just go down for regular deadlifts and come right back up. Just really know the crowd on that one. Maybe got back, yeah, throw the butt back, twerk it out. Anytime we're hinging, because you're going to see to this day, people still squat when they're supposed to bend, right? So always drive your butt back to the wall, push your butt back to the wall. You should have a soft knee, not a bending knee. So your knee should still be soft somewhat. If you want more hammy, you could say straight leg, but I would always teach it, especially for general public, to keep a soft knee so they're not really pressing their knee joint, their kneecaps back or put hypercenter at the knee. To have a softer knee, but still feel that nice stretch in the hammies to make sure they feel that. And, it's all about appropriate touching too. So, I will slide my hand, I'm not going up to the butt, but I will go back on the back of the hamstring and be like, you should be feeling the stretch here. If you're not feeling that there, unless you're super flexible and you don't feel your hammies, time you do a deadlift, you should feel your hamstring fire up some way, somehow. If you don't feel it, you're not doing it right? Or the weight's too light. So if they don't feel when you're touching, right? If I go here and I'm bending and I just right below and I'm like, you should feel that here. If they don't get that mind muscle connection that's hitting their hamstring, they're probably squatting down too much, not driving their butt back. So appropriate touching, don't touch the butt, but you can definitely give them a little touch on the, hey, you should feel like right here on your hamstrings, right? 2 fingers, don't gotta go 5 fingers or 2 fingers, and just give them a nice little touch on the back of the hammy. Just say this is where you should be connecting with. If you're not feeling that, you're probably dipping your butt down too low on that. Especially when you elevate your toes, you're definitely gonna feel more of a stretch in the hamstrings.
We only squeeze our own glutes here at SARE.
Your own glutes or your significant other glutes if they're in the class. If you're feeling that fancy, go right ahead. Give her a little smack. Hey, you're doing a good bend right there. That's the bend I like to see. Bow, and then move on. But that's it. Nobody else's. Don't smack nobody else's. But I mean, I do sometimes, but no females. But I'll give you a good like, hey, good job. You know, good work. Travis gets his butt smacked all the time. Um, Kettlebell catch to alternating lunge. Um, again, this is lighter kettlebells on this one. As you go down to the catch, come up at the side lunge, play with the range of motion on this. If the catch is not for them, just have that front load with the lunge. You could definitely probably kind of be awkward to catch with a fit fighter, but if you find that you are limited, just have them hold it front loaded, search your style, whatever might work best for them. And just work with a side to side or alternating side to side lunge. Again, being on here for 45 seconds, I always try to make sure we're doing alternating or bilateral movements so we're not having to switch up. On the last set, best set, I know a lot of times, you know, just being here for almost a decade, knowing that when you get to 45, people have a hard time, coaches have a hard time yelling halfway anyways on last set, best set. So I try to take that out the works for them. So knowing that every time we do 45, you're most likely always going to do bilateral or alternating movements, so you're not worrying about just one side. Now, a 40-second week, you'll see more unilateral stuff. So we can say halfway because it's easy to say at 20 seconds halfway, right? Or the memory will know, hey, on that set, best set, make sure you switch halfway through. And again, like our 30-second weeks, we can go around 4 times. I use those for unilateral work, and but everything else, 25, 45, 35, is more bilateral to take away from having to switch up halfway on the last set. Here's a fun, so shoulder overs, got a deca movement here. So I try to keep, the 40 pound, the 60 pound, the 25 pound jam ball out there. So people can get that deca feel and you add a little sprint. Obviously, if you don't have the space to sprint, they can just come over the shoulder, do like 4 to 5 stationary sprints right in the spot, pick it back up, go to that stationary sprint, throw it back up, stationary sprint. If you're not going to actually have the space to get the locomotion in there, then move. Just having these stationary, or they can just sprint front to back, just get some movement in there because you want to get some locomotion, because that's going to be a locomotion station right there. With that sprint and the dead ball shoulder over. The inverted row to the TRX spin the chin up is a twofer. So again, it's not you staying in one spot for 45 seconds of just straight up inverted row. It breaks up a little bit. So I feel like you're doing a little bit more within that 45 seconds and not just a focus on one movement. So you're still working the back on this one. You're getting your horizontal pull with the inverted row, and you're actually getting a vertical pull with the suspended pull up. All right, so you get to bicep work on the chin up. Some bicep work. So very important when the chin up, palms are in, now out, palms are in, squeeze the biceps as you come up, try to accept. I always say, mimic as if you're on a chin up bar or pull up bar. You want to get your chin above the handle on the TRX. There's an anchor on your hips, keep your butt down to the ground. You're not inverted like the inverted row. You don't want to be in a tabletop position. You want to have your butt low on this. So tabletop for inverted. Rotate the wrist, healthy rotator cuff, right? Overhand and neutral. Come back down. Pull yourself up as if you're on that pull-up bar with that chin up. Come back down. So you can break those two up within that 45-second period. And then we have a basic hurricane at the end, 25 on, 5 off, quick feet. With the quick feet with 25, you want to add a burpee here, like hit, you can do that. To have some fun with it. Supine ski abs, long jump with backwards hop, 25 on, 5 off, a really good burn. If you're doing a 6 station, if you get an oversized class, you'll have swim band work, swim band good morning, which is good for the low back. It takes away from the heavy load, but you still conquer your hinge there. And then you have a split squat with a toe raise, single leg balance movement there. It's gonna be more quad, knee, glute focus too, because you're gonna be putting more focus on that front leg. And I forgot to mention in the last workout for Friday, Monday, Wednesday of the finisher, when we do the football drills, there's 2 things you could, if you have a smaller class, instead of just keeping it with quick feet, because we got quick feet this one, I always do quick feet in a small class, I point, right? So we'll do like, when we did football drills back in high school, it was like, you shuffle your feet, right? And if you go right, you shuffle right, you go left, you can run forward, you can run back. So give them direction, right? You can give them direction, jump up, point down, hit the ground. If you have a whistle, you can get the whistle out for that one, have some fun with that one. If the class is too big, they can still, instead of just sticking with the quick feet, right? We might just have them quick the feet. We say right, their hips go right, they come back center, left, hips left, come back center, right, left. So it's not just a quick feet like we're doing in Saturday through Thursday. You can add some more fun with the football drills because that's like a real football drill. Yeah, that's what we did in football. So with that finisher, have them move either shuffle right to left when you point, back pedal, run forward, points with yourself. So we get on a plow box and kind of conduct it like we're conducting the band, right? You have them facing us and we'll point which way we want them to go. I'm like finishing more than just getting your body right. I always say get your mind right. So we're gonna do opposites, right? Throw them at an opposite, probably towards the end of the week. And then whatever way you point, they got to do opposite. So you point up, they go down, you point down, they go up, you point right, they go left, left, you go right. So that's a fun one that typically gets some good laughs in it too once you do opposites with them. So that's for Friday, Monday, Wednesday. And then Saturday through Thursday, you just have your quick feet. And if you do want to add, some fun, hit, you can do the burpees within the quick feet. And that's what we have. And then the quote for this one. The quote for this one is shorter. So I can type this in real quick to the chat.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, Jeremy's typing. I'll just say there were some great things mentioned there, and I just want to kind of highlight them. Thank you. But yeah, the thing I wanted to add were I love like when we have longer time periods because we get more time to go around the room and actually coach. The other thing that happens is the member gets more time to actually do the exercise. So this is a great week to emphasize what they should be feeling, as Jeremy was describing in the road to the pull-up, and like how you have a reverse grip and you have an overhand grip, and you're working the width of your back and the bicep, and then you're working the peak of the bicep. Like you can go into things and you can tell them that the perfect repetition is 3 to 5 seconds long, so maybe they can even take time to count their reps, that it's a 3, 2, 1 on the way down, and it's more of an explosive rep when it's the force, the concentric part. There's some good things that you can just try to drop in. I'm not suggesting that we take 5 minutes demoing one exercise to turn it into a class, but I'm suggesting drop these gems in where you can, because people don't often get weeks like this where they can really have that mind muscle connection and take their time with something. So that's really good. Also, what Jeremy was talking about there, we've done at a conference, and be a football coach. Have a football in your hand when you're pointing directions or whatever, have the whistle. That's fun stuff, that's kind of like making a good show. But to do the opposite is an exercise in neuroplasticity. And we were all laughing at ourselves, like when they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna say left, but that means you go right." Like if you have to, it's funny just to feel your brain doing that stuff, So we actually have a neurosurgeon that comes in. She's a brain surgeon, so she might use words like that, But it's good. Good keeps your mind sharp, right? So those were some good things you were saying, Jeremy, and I just wanted to kind of highlight those.
Yeah, and I'll say you one thing too. Like, so when I worked with Allie for a little bit, Allie Gilbert, for us to be in a high stress environment all the time, although it's good stress, we're in high stress. So a lot of the sector stuff is important because it is important to slow down, right? The goal shouldn't be to be at 88, 90% of your max heart rate all the time. So to put our body in a way that we can kind of slow down is good. And I think with the 45-second weeks, it allows us to slow down a little bit and really focus on form and repetition, right? So it's not about speed, where, the complex might be a little faster because you only got 20 seconds. This day, these higher time range are times that we should take advantage and let ourselves slow down, let our body, in a sense, recover from a high stress environment and really focus on heavier weight and focus on the actual movement. So, and when So when I was with her, she always like, you only can do hit. For me, she said me I only can do hit once a week. So I was only doing hit once a week because I coached it all day long. And then she was like, don't wear your mind zone at all. So although I still did, I just kept my mind zone in my backpack because she was like, I don't want you in the 80% range. I want you in the blue and green, right? Because you're always high stress. If you're always high stress, your body's in flight or fight. So that's why you hold on more fat because you're not giving your body the time to recover. And because I do this coaching, I coach all day long. And then on top of that, I was doing, hit. So most of my workouts became more of eccentric, slow down. So it was more me just counting 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, and popping back up. And honestly, when I was doing that, I saw some great results. So I was trying to somewhat incorporate those techniques in these higher time frames of just like kind of slowing down and time under tension, mind muscle connection with like the eccentric movement. So that's why you'll see more of those, in these workouts. I don't think we did eccentric stuff like that hardly ever prior to 2022 or 23, whatever it was.